This video is about the mom walked into the amusement park and a millionaire offered his help. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the sprawling expanse of Willow's amusement park. Laughter echoed through the air, mingling with the scent of cotton candy and popcorn. Parents shepherded their children, their faces painted with joy, while teenagers squealed on roller coasters that twisted and turned in dizzying loops. Among the throng of exhilarated visitors was Clara Thompson, a single mother with an unruly mane of chestnut hair that cascaded past her shoulders. She wore a well-loved denim jacket over a simple white t-shirt and a pair of faded jeans, her practical attire a stark contrast to the vibrant atmosphere. Clara's brown eyes, usually so full of determination, held a flicker of uncertainty as she surveyed the chaotic scene. "Okay, Clara," she whispered to herself, "you can do this." Today was meant to be an adventure for her 5-year-old son, Jamie, who had been begging to visit the park since he first saw the television commercial. She had spent the week preparing, saving every last penny, and now all she needed was to make this day special. "Mom, look!" Jamie shouted, pointing enthusiastically at a towering Ferris wheel that spun gracefully against the backdrop of the setting sun. His wide grin was contagious, and Clara felt a rush of affection. "Yes, sweetheart," she replied, her voice tinged with both excitement and apprehension. "Let us go." As they approached the ride, Clara's heart raced not only from the thrill of the amusement park but from her inner turmoil. She wanted Jamie to have the best day possible, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something, a part of herself that was still tangled up in the past. "Mommy, can we go on the Ferris wheel first?" Jamie's bright eyes sparkled with anticipation. "Of course, buddy." Clara squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with pride. But just as they reached the entrance, a loud voice cut through the symphony of laughter. "Excuse me, Mom." It was a deep voice, rich and commanding. Clara turned to find a tall man standing there, a casual elegance about him. He wore a fitted navy shirt and designer jeans that accentuated his muscular frame. His bronze skin glowed in the sunlight, and his tousled dark hair framed a chiseled face adorned with a smile that could melt glaciers. "Yes," she replied, taken aback by his sudden appearance. "I couldn't help but notice your new son," he continued, his gaze shifting to Jamie, who was practically bouncing on his feet. "You look like you could use a little help today." Clara's brow furrowed. There was an intensity in his eyes that made her heart flutter, and she didn't know how to respond. "I am fine, thank you," she said, a hint of defensiveness creeping into her tone. The man chuckled softly, unperturbed by her reluctance. "I am not implying you can manage. It is just that I know my way around this park. I could show you the best attractions and maybe even save you some time in lines." Clara hesitated, weighing the pros and cons of accepting help from a stranger. There was something about him, his confidence, perhaps, that made her instinctively worry. "I appreciate it, but I think we'll all be okay." "Jamie," he said, kneeling to be at her son's eye level, "how about you tell your mom how much fun the Ferris wheel is? I promise I'll make this day even more memorable." Jamie's eyes lit up as he considered the offer. "Please, Mom, please let him help us." Clara felt the pressure of Jamie's hopeful gaze on her. She sighed, knowing that she couldn't deny him this moment of joy. "All right," she said reluctantly, "but only for the Ferris wheel." "Great, I am Alex, by the way." He extended his hand, and Clara felt a jolt of warmth as she shook it, their fingers lingering for a fraction longer than necessary. "Clara," she replied, her voice softer now, a mix of curiosity and trepidation swirling within her. As they stepped into the line for the Ferris wheel, Clara felt the air shift around them. Alex moved closer, leaning slightly in her direction. "So, Clara, how do you like being a mom?" She was surprised by the question, feeling her defenses start to crumble. "It is challenging, but rewarding too. Every day is a new adventure." "I can only imagine. Jimmy looks like a natural thrill seeker," Alex said, nodding toward her son, who was eagerly bouncing up and down. "Yes, he absolutely is, but I worry sometimes," Clara admitted, glancing at Jamie, a sense of vulnerability washing over her. "I want him to have the best childhood possible, especially with everything we've been through." "What do you mean?" Alex asked, a note of genuine interest in his voice. Clara hesitated, unsure whether she should open up to the stranger. After a moment, she decided it might be nice to share just a little. "His father, he is not a part of our lives anymore. It is just me and Jamie now." There was a flicker of understanding in Alex's eyes. "I see, that must be tough." "It can be, but I am trying to make it work," she said, her voice resolute. "I want him to know he is loved." And I am sure he does, Alex replied, his tone softening. You're doing an amazing job. Clara felt her cheeks flush slightly at his compliment, her defenses easing ever so slightly. Thank you. Before they knew it, they were at the front of the line. Clara's heart pounded in her chest as they stepped into the car, and Jamie squealed in delight, clapping his hands. Alex positioned himself beside her, their arms brushing against each other. As the Ferris wheel began to ascend, Clara tried to focus on Jamie's laughter, but the closeness of Alex was intoxicating. The world below them shrank, and for a moment it was just the three of them, suspended in the air. Look at that view! Jamie exclaimed, his tiny fist pressed against the railing. Clara smiled at her son, but there was a tightness in her chest. The way Alex looked at her so earnestly, so intently, was both thrilling and terrifying. Yes, it is beautiful, she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. Not as beautiful as your son, Alex remarked, causing Clara to glance at him in surprise. Flattery won't get you anywhere, she teased, though her heart raced at the unexpected compliment. Just stating the truth, he replied, his eyes twinkling with mischief. But I'd be lying if I said you weren't stunning too. Clara's breath caught in her throat, and she felt the heat rising in her cheeks again. You really know how to charm a girl, don't you? She shot back, trying to maintain a light tone while her heart raced. Only when necessary, he said, a hint of playfulness in his voice. And right now, it seems necessary. As the ride reached its peak, Clara found herself lost in the moment, the thrill of the heights mirrored by the fluttering in her stomach. But just as she thought she could relax, a dark cloud of doubt crept in. What did this man want? The moment chattered as they began to descend, Jamie's laughter breaking the spell. Clara glanced at him, grateful for the distraction. She wanted to believe that this could be a simple moment of connection, but a nagging voice in her head reminded her to be cautious. Are you going to take us on more rides? Jamie asked excitedly as they disembarked. Alex grinned, his gaze darting between mother and son. Absolutely, let us make a day of it. Clara looked down at Jamie's eager face, her heart softening. Perhaps she could allow herself to enjoy this unexpected adventure just for today. As they walked hand in hand toward the next attraction, Clara felt a flicker of hope. But just beneath the surface lingered questions she couldn't yet articulate. Could a fleeting connection in a place like this ever lead to something more? And if so, was she ready to embrace it? Somehow she felt that this day was only the beginning of a tangled web of emotions, a journey she hadn't anticipated but was irresistibly drawn into. The Ferris wheel ride had ended, but the thrill of it lingered in the air as Clara, Jamie, and Alex made their way toward the next ride. Clara couldn't help but notice the way Jamie's laughter ran out, a sweet melody that cut through the noise of the park. Can we go on the roller coaster next, Mom? Jamie asked, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Sure, buddy, Clara replied, her heart swelling with affection. She looked up at Alex, who was watching her with an amused grin. But I think I'll need a moment to prepare myself for that one. Don't you worry, I'll be right beside you, he said confidently, his gaze unwavering. Clara felt a shiver of anticipation at his words. There was something intoxicating about his presence, yet the weight of her reality loomed in the back of her mind. She was a mother first, and while Alex was undeniably charming, she couldn't ignore her reservations. Mom, look, that one is the fastest. Jamie pointed at the roller coaster with glee, his little fingers practically trembling with excitement. Looks like we're going on it then, Alex said, ruffling Jamie's hair affectionately. The gesture struck a chord in Clara, prompting a mix of awe and unease within her. As they joined the line, Clara felt the tension building around them, a blend of excitement and something deeper. She caught Alex stealing glances at her, his expression shifting between admiration and curiosity. Do you come here often? He asked, breaking the silence as they shuffled forward in line. Not really, Clara admitted, feeling slightly bashful. This is Jamie's first visit, so I wanted it to be special. That is sweet, Alex replied, his voice low and sincere. You're making it memorable already. Clara felt her heart flutter at his compliment, but there was that nagging voice again reminding her of the responsibility she carried and the wall she had built around her heart. Thanks, but it is not just me. Jamie is the real star here, she said, nudging her son gently, who was still bouncing with enthusiasm. But the truth hung heavy on her. Was she really ready to expose herself to someone like Alex? As they approached the front of the line, Clara's stomach twisted in anticipation. Okay, buddy, you ready? She asked Jamie, who nodded vigorously, his eyes wide with thrill. More than ready, Jamie shouted, and Clara couldn't help but laugh at his infectious enthusiasm. You've got this, Clara, Alex said softly, leaning closer, his breath warm against her ear. Just hold on tight and enjoy the ride. She swallowed hard, the thrill of his closeness intoxicating yet disarming. Right, enjoy the ride, she echoed, trying to ground herself in the moment even as her heart raced for a different reason. The ride operator signaled them forward, and they climbed into their seats. Clara took a deep breath, fastening her seatbelt as she felt Alex slide into the seat beside her. Ready? He asked, his voice low, eyes sparkling with mischief. Not sure, Clara admitted with a nervous laugh. As the roller coaster began to climb, Clara could feel her heart pounding, but it was not solely due to the adrenaline. She felt Alex's presence beside her, his solid frame radiating a sense of security, yet stirring something exhilarating within her. Here we go! Jamie shouted, and with that, the car dropped suddenly, sending them into a whirlwind of twists and turns. Clara's breath caught in her throat, but she couldn't suppress the laughter bubbling up from within. Hold on tight. Alex yelled over the rush of wind, his voice filled with exhilaration. Clara clutched the safety bar, stealing glances at Jamie, who was shrieking with delight. But amidst the chaos, she found herself sneaking looks at Alex, who was completely lost in the moment, a carefree smile etched on his face. They careened around a loop, and Clara's laughter mixed with gasps of surprise. For a fleeting moment, her worries faded, replaced by the thrill of the ride and the undeniable chemistry crackling between her and Alex. As they descended, the roller coaster came to a screeching halt. Clara felt a rush of adrenaline, both from the ride and the proximity of Alex, who wore an exhilarated grin. See, that wasn't so bad, he exclaimed, his eyes glinting. Clara took a moment to catch her breath, a smile breaking through her earlier uncertainty. You were right, it was actually fun. Just wait until we try the next one, he teased, but there was a softer undertone to his voice, a depth that made Clara's heart flutter. Jamie clambered out of the ride, running in circles, still buzzing with excitement. That was the best ever, Mom. I am glad you loved it, sweetheart, Clara said, her heart swelling with pride. But as she looked over at Alex, she couldn't help but notice a flicker of something in his eyes, a blend of admiration for her son and a hint of something more for her. Ready for another ride? Alex asked as they walked towards the next attraction. Maybe the carousel, something a bit less intense? Clara suggested, feeling a rush of warmth at the thought of seeing Jamie as the light on the gentle ride. Sounds perfect, Alex replied, falling into step beside her, their shoulders brushing occasionally. As they approached the carousel, Clara felt a sudden wave of nostalgia wash over her. I used to love this ride as a kid, she said, glancing at Jamie, who was already eagerly pointing at the beautifully painted horses. It's magical, Alex said, watching her with a hint of something deeper in his gaze, something that made her pulse quicken. Let us pick the biggest horse, Jamie exclaimed, dashing toward the carousel. Of course, the biggest one for my brave little knight, Clara called after him, smiling at how easily they had settled into this rhythm of laughter and joy. I can see where he gets it from, Alex said softly, and Clara caught a glimpse of sincerity in his eyes. I think he gets it from his father, she replied, suddenly feeling the weight of her words. The air grew heavier, and Clara could sense a shift as the lightness evaporated. Does he see his father? Alex asked, his tone cautious but genuine. Clara hesitated, her heart constricting uncomfortably. No, he hasn't. He'd been a part of Jamie's life for a long time. It is just complicated. There was a moment of silence, and Clara felt exposed, vulnerable beneath Alex's steady gaze. I can imagine how difficult that must be, he said finally, his voice low and thoughtful. But you were doing an incredible job. Jamie is lucky to have you. Her heart ached at his kindness, and yet there was a lingering ache within her, an unresolved conflict that was threatening to tear down the walls she had built. Thank you, but I am just trying to keep afloat, she admitted, swallowing hard. Before Alex could respond, Jamie jumped back into their conversation, eyes gleaming with excitement. Mom, look at my horse. Clara turned to see Jamie proudly leading them to a magnificent white horse adorned with sparkling sequins. This is the best. It is beautiful, buddy, Clara said, the tension momentarily forgotten as they climbed onto their horses. Hold on tight. Alex called over the cheerful music, his voice laced with playfulness. Clara couldn't help but smile, feeling pulled into this moment of joy with both her son and this intriguing man beside her. As the carousel began to spin, Clara felt herself relax. The world blurred around them, and laughter filled the air, matching the rhythm of her heart. But as they rode, the warmth of Alex's presence lingered, a reminder of the emotion simmering beneath the surface. For every laugh shout, there was an unspoken tension, push and pull that left her breathless. "Hey, Clara," Alex called as the ride slowed, his expression suddenly serious. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure," Clara replied, her heart fluttering with apprehension. "What do you want?" he asked, his gaze piercing through her defenses. "What do you really want for you and Jamie?" The weight of his question hung between them, and Clara felt her heart race. It was a question she had been grappling with long before today, a question she had buried beneath layers of responsibility and fear. "I want him to be happy," Clara said slowly, her voice trembling. "But I don't know if I deserve happiness too." "Of course you do," Alex replied earnestly, his eyes never leaving hers. "You're an amazing mother, Clara. You deserve to feel joy, to embrace life." As the carousel spun to a stop, Clara felt a shift within her, a flicker of hope igniting as she met his gaze. "I ain't just scared," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Scared of what?" Alex pressed gently, his intensity making her stomach flip. "Scared of getting hurt again," she murmured, feeling the wall she had built vibrate with unsteady motion. As the carousel came to an end, Clara felt the world around her shift ever so slightly. The vibrant colors of the painted horses began to blur, but she remained anchored by Alex's steady gaze, which seemed to penetrate right through her defenses. She started, her voice barely above a whisper, but the words tangled in her throat. The moment felt fragile, as if a single breath could shatter the connection they had forged throughout the day. "Scared of what?" he pressed, his tone gentle yet firm. His intensity was palpable, and Clara found herself caught in the undertow of his concern. Of letting someone in again, she finally admitted, her heart racing. "The last time it hurt too much." Alex nodded, his expression softening. "I get that. Trust is hard, especially after you've been through something painful." He hesitated, searching her eyes. "But I am not here to hurt you." "Are you sure?" she asked, biting her lip. The moment felt charged with emotion, a tension that simmered just below the surface. "You barely know me." "True," he conceded, a small smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "But I'd like to know you if you let me." Clara felt a flutter of something hope, perhaps alongside the familiar trepidation. "What if I keep you at arm's length?" she challenged, trying to maintain her composure. "Then I'll just have to find a way to break down those walls," he shot back playfully, but there was sincerity in his eyes. "Surprise you, maybe." Her heart skipped a beat at his words, an unexpected thrill coursing through her. "You're quite the determined guy, aren't you?" she replied, surprised by her own teasing tone. "Only when I see something worth pursuing." He leaned in slightly, his voice lowering conspiratorially. "And I have to say, Clara, I see something worth pursuing in you." She swallowed hard, feeling warmth bloom in her cheeks. "You really know how to make a girl feel special, don't you?" "Only when necessary," he said, echoing their earlier banter, yet this time the weight of his gaze made her rethink those words. The playful exchange was interrupted by a shrill voice. "Mom, look at that!" Jamie shouted, pointing at the cotton candy stall with wide eyes. Clara turned to see her son's excitement radiating, momentarily distracting her from the intensity of the moment with Alex. "Cotton candy, huh?" Clara said, forcing a lightness into her voice as she knelt beside Jamie. "I think we can manage that treat after the carousel." "Yeah." Jamie cheered, bouncing on his heels. "Can we take some home, too?" "We'll see about that," Clara replied, her heart swelling with affection. She turned back to Alex, and for a moment they shared a knowing look, one that spoke of uncharted territories and the risk of vulnerability. "Ready for another ride?" Clara asked, trying to shake off the lingering tension. "Absolutely. What's next?" Alex inquired, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, but Clara could sense the underlying seriousness. "Maybe the bumper cars. They were always fun," she suggested, excitement creeping back into her voice. "Perfect choice." He offered her his hand, and as she took it, a jolt of electricity coursed between them. It felt natural, yet intense, leaving Clara breathless. As they approached the bumper cars, Clara watched Jamie's face illuminate with glee as he dashed toward the colorful vehicles. "Can I drive the blue one?" he called back to her. "Go for it," she encouraged, glancing back at Alex. "Are you good at bumper cars?" "I was born ready," he replied, a playful gleam sparkling in his eyes. They climbed into their respective cars, Jamie beaming beside Alex. "Okay, Mom, no mercy," she shouted, excitement bubbling over. "I might just have to take you down," Clara challenged, a burst of laughter escaping her lips. With that, the ride operator released the cars, and Clara felt herself slip into the exhilarating chaos. The bumper cars collided with a series of joyful thuds, after echoing all around them. "Watch out," Alex called, narrowly avoiding a collision with Jamie, who was spinning wildly in his blue car. Clara couldn't help but laugh at the scene, the worries of her day momentarily evaporating. But amidst the laughter, Clara caught glimpses of Alex's genuine smile, the way he engaged with Jamie, effortlessly slipping into the role of a playful partner. Each moment rekindled a warmth she had thought extinguished, but remnants of doubt lingered, whispering reminders of her past. Just as Clara was hit from the side, her car jolted and she found herself laughing uncontrollably. "You're going down next, Alex." "Not if I can help it," he shouted, determination lacing his words. The playful banter felt like a dance, each interaction full of chemistry that was hard to ignore. As the ride came to an end, Clara felt a sense of exhilaration she hadn't experienced in years. Jamie leapt out of his car, his laughter ringing bright and clear. "That was awesome. Glad you had fun, buddy," she replied, her heart swelling with pride. But as she turned to Alex, a sudden wave of uncertainty washed over her again. "You were really great with him," she said, trying to keep her voice steady, but the vulnerability seeped through. "Thanks, he has a great kid," Alex replied, his smile softening. "He has your spirit." Clara felt a warmth bloom in her chest, but apprehension fled back to life. "But you hardly know him," she said, grappling with the implications of his words. "True," he acknowledged, stepping closer. "But I can see the spark in him. It reminds me of the courage you have." His compliment stirred something deep within her, but she hesitated, the weight of her past pressing heavily on her heart. "Is it dangerous?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "To get too close?" "Only if you let it be," Alex replied, his gaze unwavering. "You have to decide what you want, Clara." "I want what's best for Jamie," she said, her voice firm but laden with uncertainty. "But I don't know if I can risk my heart again." "You're not alone," he promised, his voice steady. "You have Jamie, and you have me if you let me in." Tears prickled the corners of Clara's eyes, and she quickly blinked them back. "That is a lot to ask." "True, but I am willing to take that risk," he replied, his tone unwavering. "And I think you are too. Just look at how you're reconnecting with me. That is not nothing." Clara felt her heart thundering in her chest, the emotion swelling dangerously close to the surface. "I don't want to mess this up for Jamie," she whispered, the weight of her fears spilling over. "He deserves a happy mom," Alex said softly. "And you deserve happiness too. Don't you want that?" "I do," Clara admitted, her heart aching for the joy she longed to embrace. "But what if I fail again?" "Then you pick yourself up and try again, just like you were doing for Jamie every single day," he replied, his gaze burning with intensity. Clara swallowed hard, the truth of his words hitting her like a bolt of lightning. "It is just hard to trust." "I know," he said, reaching out to cup her cheek, the warmth of his hand igniting a flutter deep within her. "But I'll be right here, ready to catch you." The world around them faded, the amusement park sounds dimming as Clara found herself lost in his gaze. In that moment, everything felt possible, and yet the weight of her past loomed like a shadow. "Can I think about it?" she asked, her voice shaky but resolute. "Of course," Alex replied, his hand lingering for just a moment longer before he stepped back, giving her the space she needed. "Just remember, I am not going anywhere." As they walked toward the cotton candy stall, Clara felt the tension ease, replaced with a sense of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, she could allow herself to open her heart to the possibility of something new, a journey filled with laughter, joy, and the unpredictable nature of love. But just as she began to embrace the warmth of that thought, a figure approached them from the corner of her eye, someone familiar, someone from her past. The air around her froze. Clara's heart dropped as she recognized the man approaching them, cutting through the vibrant chaos of the amusement park like a dark cloud. It was Ethan, her ex-husband, the man who had walked out on her and their son without a backward glance. "Clara," he called, his voice tinged with surprise and something else she couldn't quite place. She instinctively took a step back, her heart racing. "Ethan," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady despite the tremor of emotion surging through her. "What are you doing here?" "I just came to spend some time with Jamie," he said, a casualness to his tone that sent a jolt of anger shooting through Clara. "How dare he?" Just like that, he thought he could waltz back into their lives. "Mom, is that Dad?" Jamie exclaimed, his joy morphing into confusion as he looked between Clara and Ethan. Clara's stomach twisted. "No, sweetheart, it is not like that." Ethan took a step closer, his energy shifting from nonchalant to earnest. Clara eyed. "Save it," she interrupted, unable to keep the bitterness from seeping into her tone. "You don't get to just show up after all this time and act like you care." Mom, please, Jamie said, his small voice filled with concern. Jamie, it is okay, Clara reassured him, though her heart raced with dread. I just need a moment. I have been busy, I know, Ethan insisted, raking a hand through his hair as if it would clear his thoughts. That I want to be a part of Jamie's life. I've changed. Changed? Clara scoffed, crossing her arms defensively. You expect me to believe that? You left us without a second thought. I was young and stupid, he shot back, his frustration palpable. I didn't know what I was doing, I do now, but I want to make things right. As Clara was about to respond, she felt a gentle squeeze at her side. It was Alex, his presence grounding her amid the chaos. Hey, Clara, he said softly, leaning in slightly. You okay? She nodded, but her mind was whirling. What are you doing here, Ethan? She pressed, forcing herself to hold her ground. Look, I just came to see Jamie, that is all. I didn't expect to run into you, he claimed, though the sincerity of his words rang hollow to her ears. Jamie deserves better than a father who pops in and out whenever it suits him, Clara shot back, her voice rising despite her efforts to stay calm. Mom, I want to see Dad. Jamie exclaimed, his face hopeful. Sweetheart, it is not that simple, Clara said, her heart breaking at the confusion in her son's eyes. Ethan's gaze softened as he looked at Jamie. I want to take you on the rides, buddy, just for a few hours. How about it? Clara felt a surge of panic. No, you don't get to make the decision. You don't know what it is like for him. You don't know how hard I've worked to give him a happy life. Alex remained silent, observing the unfolding drama. He stepped a bit closer, offering his quiet strength. Clara, maybe you can talk later. Jamie is excited. Excited? Clara echoed, her frustration bubbling over. He doesn't understand what is at stake here. Maybe I should talk to him, Ethan suggested, his voice lowering as if he were trying to appeal to her sanity. Clara shook her head vehemently. You don't get to decide that. I am his mother. I've been doing this alone for years. Mom, please. Jamie whined, his small fist clenched in frustration. Clara, Alex interjected gently, his voice laced with concern. Maybe just for today let him see his dad. Clara turned to Alex, the conflict visible in her eyes. But what if he just disappears again? Jamie tugged at her sleeve, his voice filled with desperation. I want to see him, Mom. She felt torn, her heart aching for Jamie, but also for the years of hurt that still clung to her. You don't understand, Jamie, she began, her voice trembling. Maybe I do, Ethan said quietly. I made mistakes, but I am trying. I want to be here for him now. Clara felt the weight of the choices before her, uncertainty gnawing at her insides. You had your chance, she replied, her voice thick with emotion. You chose to walk away, Ethan. Mom, I don't want to miss this chance. Jamie interjected, his frustration turning to tears. Alex stepped back, giving her space, but his eyes remained trained on her, filled with understanding. Clara could see the conflict on his face, perhaps reflecting her own internal struggle. As Clara watched Jamie's disappointment grow, she felt her resolve wavering. It just for a little while, she finally relented, her heart breaking. But only with me there. Okay, Ethan nodded, relief washing over his face. I just want to take him on a few rides, no pressure. Clara felt a surge of anger but suppressed it for Jamie's sake. Fine, but if you pull anything, I'll be there, and you want to get to see him again. Understood, Ethan said, his eyes darting toward Jamie, whose face lit up with excitement. Can we go on the big slide, please? Jamie asked eagerly, unaware of the tension that surrounded them. Sure, buddy, anything you want, Ethan replied, crouching down to meet Jamie's eyes. Clara felt a pang of possessiveness, knowing she had been the one to build this life for Jamie, the one to teach him joy and resilience. Let us go, then, she said, her voice firm as she took Jamie's hand and walked beside Ethan. But as they headed toward the slide, she felt Alex's presence lingering just behind her, a reminder of the connection they had forged that day. Clara glanced back and caught his eye. He nodded slightly, as if to say, I am here for you. The line for the slide moved quickly, and Clara kept a close watch on Ethan and Jamie. You re okay with this? She whispered to Alex, who had fallen in step beside her. Not exactly, he replied, his tone serious. But I understand you want what is best for Jamie. Just keep an eye on him. I will, Clara promised, though her heart felt heavy with uncertainty. As they reached the front of the line, Jamie jumped up and down, his excitement palpable. Clara tried to focus on his joy, but the tension between her and Ethan lingered like a thick fog. Ready, buddy? Ethan asked, a grin spreading across his face as they climbed the stairs to the slide. Yeah. Jamie cheered, his small frame vibrating with eagerness. Clara watched as they took their places at the top of the slide, her heart racing with both pride and trepidation. Be careful, she called out, her voice strained. Always, Ethan replied, casting a glance back at her. As they shot down the slide, Clara felt her heart skip a beat. It was a moment of pure joy for Jamie, and she couldn't let her fears overshadow that. But as they landed, she felt a rush of protectiveness over her son. See? That was amazing, Jamie exclaimed, his face flushed with excitement. Can we go again? He pleaded, bouncing on his feet. Of course, Ethan said, ruffling Jamie's hair. Let us do it again. Clara took a step back as they climbed the stairs once more, her heart heavy with the weight of her unresolved feelings. She felt the warmth of Alex's presence beside her, steadying her as her emotions churned. Are you okay? He asked quietly, his eyes searching hers. I don't know, she admitted, her voice shaking. I am scared of what this means for Jamie. Just be there for him, Alex encouraged, his expression earnest. You're doing a great job. Just trust yourself. I wish I could, Clara replied, feeling tears prick at the corners of her eyes. Alex reached out, brushing her arm with his fingertips. You're stronger than you realize. As they prepared to go on the slide again, Clara felt a spark of gratitude for Alex, his support a beacon of light amid the emotional storm swirling around her. When Jamie and Ethan returned from the slide, Clara bent down to meet her son's eyes. Did you have fun? Best time ever, Mom, she shouted, his excitement infectious. Okay, but we need to keep it together, alright? She said, her voice tight with emotion. Ethan interjected, how about we go grab some cotton candy, my treat? Clara felt her pulse quicken. Oh no, you don't get to just swoop in and act like you're the fun dad.